Hey guys, I'm Sebastian. I'm going to show you 3 more of my favorite lower back exercises. This is part of a series that I put together about exercises that are very good for reducing lower back pain very, very quickly, except in the cases where you're stuck on the floor completely and you've been there and it's happened yesterday. There's an acute inflammatory response that often happens in those cases. It doesn't mean these won't work for you, but a lot of times it's just a little too soon. And there are other things we can help you with just in case you need. So this is a follow along video, so please stay all the way to the end. I'm going to show you ways where we can modify this based upon if they work and don't work for you, because we do see a lot of people with lower back pain, disc herniation, sciatica, SI joint, hip flexor, groin, and so on. And there's definitely ways to tinker with these exercises and restore movement, get our movement patterns to clean up, and pretty much reduce back pain very quickly within the course of under a month or so. So the exercise we're going to cover today is a split squat, a squat pattern, and a hinge pattern. And the reason why I'm holding this dowel right here is because the dowel is something that can greatly support you in the beginning. And if you've been stuck on the floor before from lower back pain and having your lower back go out, you're going to understand already that having like a little support like this is nice, especially in the beginning stages of getting back into movement. Now, you might wonder, is movement even helpful to you? Motion's lotion. Movement is medicine. It's not just sayings, it's the truth. And I know for a fact of the people that, many people, I'd say 95% of the people that we've seen have not required any medication, any surgery, or anything seriously done to their spine to feel better and feel like they can do everything they want to again. So let's use the dowel and start. So I'm going to back up a little bit. I apologize, I don't have a camera person today. I usually do. And so if I look small in certain situations, I apologize. So the split squat here, usually I like to have a target, and this is an RX pad. It could be a couple books. You don't need anything fancy like a $50 pad to do this. But in my experience, at least when you provide something, we call it an external cue, it makes it easier to accomplish than it is if it's just thinking about where to put your feet. And so in this case, we're going to take the stick here, and we're going to drop our knee towards the ground. If you need this to get back up, go ahead. But if you don't, use it for balance. And notice I'm doing this by the wall too. Doing it by the wall can provide you with another balance support here and a balance support here. So I hope you guys are doing this with me, and I want to see what you feel. Some people will say, well, this feels great. In that case, don't worry about anything. Just do them. Okay? If you just do them, this builds a movement pattern that's accessible to us to get it on and off the ground without really subjecting our back to bending forward or arching backwards or twisting. Now the next exercise is called a hip hinge. You can do this with a stick for a couple different ways. The stick is a good guiding teaching tool. All right, and I want you to notice that this thing right here is just to simulate a wall, because I want you to do it against a wall. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place the stick literally on the back of your head, on the back of your mid-back, between your shoulder blades, and then between your butt creases, all right? I want you to imagine if you had a cell phone between the stick here and your butt crease, at any point, if you move in this exercise, you should not drop that cell phone. You've lost it. You got to go get a new one. It went in water. So don't lose your cell phone, because everybody wants one of those things. So keep that thing attached, and we're going to sit back, and we're going to try to touch the pockets of our pants to the wall behind you, all right? Notice this stick, I'm not losing it. It's still between that crease right there, okay? All right, so another cue which works for a lot of people too is act like you have a dresser here, and there's 3 drawers. I only want you to push in the top drawer, not the second drawer, the top drawer, and stand back up. It's like a sticky drawer, you keep shutting it. Now this movement, you can do it slow or a little bit more quickly like I am. But most people, what they realize here is at some point, they put the stick away and they're like, huh, when I do the hip hinging movement, I can now pick stuff up. I can almost shave my own legs, right? And so this is why the hip hinging movement is so important within a therapeutic activity, is because it teaches you to shift load from the area that's sensitive, such as the low back disc, the facets, the nerves in the low back as they exit, and it shifts it to the hips, which the hips are a more powerful and competent mover of the body with running, sprinting, jogging, sitting, squatting, deadlifting, and so on. You want to use that area to do most of the movement, especially for the next week. I'm not saying don't ever round your spine or extend your spine again or twist it. That's the wrong idea to portray here. I want you to realize that it's sensitive to those movements now. Next week it might not be if you do the right things. And that's the misconception a lot of people have, is they think they can't do that activity ever again. No, it's actually wrong. You should do those activities again. However, if it's painful, you can't do it yet. And that's why doing a step-by-step process and having someone guide you is very helpful in these situations. It's hard for people to do it on their own. Now, the third activity is called the squat. Okay? The squat, I'm going to have you use this stick just as to keep the chest up. You can also do this in a door, like a door jamb area. And so with the stick, I call this the Rafiki squat, like the Lion King. The Rafiki, he's the monkey, had the big stick, right? And so with this, we're going to creep down the cane, all right? If you had a chair behind you, even better. So you're going to creep down the cane. Now, I don't want you to lean on the cane, all right? If this was bigger, it'd actually be better because it'd be way up here. So imagine the door jamb here. I'd be creeping down the door jamb, okay? And so I'll use this here again. And so then in this case, I put the stick kind of leveraged into between my legs, and I'm keeping my chest very honest on the way down. If you had a logo on your shirt like I do, by the way, Performance Place, Costa Mesa, California, virtual or in person, we can do all this in person or virtual, won't matter. We can help you out. Show the logo to the person across the room. And when you do that, I bet your lower back's like, dude, that's good. I love that. But you got to keep your lower back happy, okay? So do this 10 times, 8 times rather. Let's make it real simple. Let's do 8, okay? 8 reps of this, creep into more and more range if you want. Again, you can use the door jamb if you want to, or not. There's no magic about how you do it. It's just make it feel good, okay? So we have that. So we're going to recap here. Split squats, with or without assistance, 50%, 75%, or 100%. I don't care. Do what feels good. Hip hinging against the wall, push the top drawer in, and then we have Rafiki squats. 8, 8, and 8. Obviously 8 times on per side on the split squats. But so these are correcting of movement. This is a category of exercise that we call correcting of movement. It doesn't strengthen anything. It doesn't build endurance in anything. It basically repatterns movement. And so a lot of times, let's just say if I jam my finger, or I put my finger backwards and it kind of went cockeyed back, putting it backwards for a little bit of time, a couple weeks, might be very harmful on the area. It'll hurt. But there's no reason to not do it again in the future. And so a lot of times what we'll do with correcting movement patterns is we'll shift load to a different area. In this case, instead of trying to do something like touch my finger here, we'll allow the wrist to move back more. And so we're shifting the movement to a different area momentarily in order to let this joint or the nerve or the disc or the muscle to heal itself, and then we reincorporate movement again. So that's the basics of it there. By the way, if you're wondering what to do next, and if you like what you heard and you're wondering, hey, how else can you help me? Well, I have a book that we are offering for free. All we do is ask that you pay for shipping because I'm not trying to bankrupt myself to get books out there. But the book is free. It's a really good deal for you guys. And so click on the link below, all the way down at the bottom. If you're watching this on a phone, you got to go way to the bottom. But if you're on your browser, desktop, it should be right around there. And so something might fly in here too. So get the book. I've spent a lot of time creating the book for you guys and creating a lot of free resources for everybody dealing with low back, hip flexor, IT band, things like that. Even shoulder blade stuff into the upper extremity and the neck area. So we spend a lot of time doing free resources for everybody. So everybody gets to the point where they realize they can get better. Now they wonder, what do I do next? But sometimes the hardest thing is just breaking the thought process that you're not just getting older. I understand that we see people all the time who say, oh, this is just the way it's going to be. I mean, if that's what you want, yeah, you've sealed your own destiny here. I don't mean this in a bad way. This is just tough love, okay? So if you want to get better, I've seen people in their 50s, 60s, 70s get rid of back pain completely because they put in hard work. The solution is actually pretty simple. It just takes some effort on your part, and it takes someone to usually guide you through that. So please get the guide below, or sorry, please get the book below. Get it in the link there. We also have virtual and online appointments. We can help you literally anywhere that you're at. And just go to the website for that. I think it's linked below too. Anyways, so but we have stuff all the way from free to very expensive. So it depends what you want to do, how much hand-holding you want, and how much you want to interact with us. So again, Sebastian from the locally world-famous chiropractors at Performance Place in Costa Mesa, California. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to do flows like this and exercises for low back in a series, so there's going to be a lot more videos. It's probably going to suggest another T right here anyway. So check those out. We'll see you next time.